What's up, YouTube? You know what time it is. MightyFan time, and thanks for watching. As always, another vid here. It's got some lids to share, some recent pickups, all in the kind of recent, meaning that within the last month, little over a month, and now up until recent time. But they all have one theme in common, just aside from all being Phillies related. They are all also FlexFit hats. And you know, me, I'm a chameleon. I can wear just about any hat. I'm not a big fan of the dad hats because I don't like the strap back hats as much. But fitted hats, you know, regular fitted hats, snapback hats, FlexFit fitteds, which are probably amongst my favorite because they're the most comfortable to me. And the brim, I just love how it's curved. The low profiles, obviously, for baseball, I'm a fan of those too because the brim is already pretty much curved. Um, the regular fitteds are great. The quality is really nice and all, and I get it. But to me, those brims are always just very stiff, and just it's hard to form them, a certain way. And I have enough of those hats. Believe me, I have a lot of those regular on-field fitteds. But I also have some low profiles, and then I have these. They're flex fit. Now the flex fitteds are more for fans. These are not worn on the field or anything like that, but they're a little different than the other fitteds because they do not have, for the most part, the Batterman logo on the back. But of course, the on-field fitteds obviously have them. The low profiles have them, but just not these flex fitted for the most part. There might be some out there that do. I just don't know. But for the most part, it's going to be something else like the team logo. It might be the team name or what have you. But anyhow, let's get into the hats. Enough of me going yee. So. Happy 4th of July. I know for today when I'm filming, I'm actually filming this on July 2nd on the evening of July 2nd, but the 4th of July is coming up pretty quickly here. I'm not sure if I will post this to YouTube tomorrow night or on the 4th. I'm kind of leaning towards the 4th because there are some patriotic, things with this video. So anyhow, happy 4th of July 2019 to all, and being that it is almost the 4th of July, well, obviously, Major League Baseball outfits their players with patriotic gear. The hat, of course, being one of the staples for the past how many years. And this is actually last year's version, the 2018 Stars and Stripes hat. And it's just a solid red. It's also got the We the People on the bottom. And I believe that was only done for the flex fits. If I'm not mistaken, I didn't get the on-field fitted of these, and I think the flex fits were the ones that had the We the People on the bottom. But anyhow, this is last year's version, and this is this year's version. Both picked up at Lids. Of course, this was last year. This I picked up this year. And I know there's been plenty of hat heads that have done the review vids for these hats, so I won't go into it ad nauseum. Obviously, it's already been done in many different videos by many different, aficionados of the lids. So, but this is it. And I like it. I think this year they did a very nice job. I love the two-tone. A lot of years they did not do two-tone, including last year. But this year they did. So it's got the navy blue brim and the red crown. The eyelids are all the solid red. The button is navy blue on top. Now the logo on the front. Now each hat for each team is going to have an old school logo on the front. And the Phillies, of course, are no different. And this is a really old one. I forget the exact era that this particular Phillies P was in. If you know it, please leave in the comments below. But it goes way back. And it's kind of an interesting one that they chose to use. I don't think they've used this P on very many hats in the past. So it's kind of interesting that it kind of drew to this one. But it's a unique-looking Phillies P, that's for sure. And it's just one you haven't seen on very many hats, unless they did a throwback hat for that era. But it is, like I said, it's just a different-looking Phillies P. Some people might not even know that that's the Phillies P. And Phillies P has changed a lot over the years. And, of course, the one that people are familiar with other than their current, Phillies P that they've had for a number of years, I believe starting in '92, if I'm not mistaken, was that old fat P from the 70s into the early 90s. And that's one of my favorites. Now, there's two versions of it. There's the regular fat P, and then there's a bit of a slimmer one with the baseball seams inside the circle for the P. But they could have done that. I think it would look cool with the stars and stripes on the inside of it. But, they wanted to go outside the box and do something a little different, something that hasn't been done before very often, if ever if even ever. So they kind of went with that particular piece. So there it is. That's the one they went with, and of course it's got the stars and stripes. It is bordered in gold, so that's pretty cool. New Era flag. These are all New Era. New Era flag on the side. It's got the National League logo. This is a patch this year, and it is stitched on there to the border, but it is an actual patch of the logo. Now, last year what they did was they did it as well, but it was more stitched, everything stitched onto the hat, so the detail really wasn't there last year. It was kind of generic. You know, it's enough that you know what it is, but it was very generically done. So the detailing just isn't, you know, completely there for the logo. But of course, this year you do have it because it's that patch. And the American League teams would have their American League logo on the side for there. And the back, of course, you got Phillies bordered in white. Kind of interesting, they didn't border in gold like the Phillies P on the front, but it is what it is in there. So that may have been a bit of an oversight on their part, but there it is, the Phillies word mark on the back, and it does have the green underbrim, as the on-fields do as well, I believe, for that. And there's also snapback versions of these, and I forget if they're strapbacks or not, but I know they're snapbacks. I saw them at the ballpark stores over the last time I was at a game recently. But again, this one was picked up at Lids, so I got a little discount with the card in the store. Some Lids still do that. The ones near me, you can still get discount with the card. And if I remember correct, when Fanatics took it over, I think some stores, I think it's the locker room stores, if I'm not mistaken, they don't do the discount anymore. If I'm wrong about that, please leave it in the comments below. But I think that's what I've heard. But all the Lids near me, I don't have any locker room lid stores near me. They're all still the regular Lids, and they all still take the card, you know, the discount on your club card, which is cool. This one actually picked up back on Memorial Day weekend. And the deal they did then, they're doing now in Lids, only in store. If you buy 2 hats, you get a third free of equal or less value. So at that time, I took advantage of it. I probably won't be taking advantage of it this time, but I took advantage of it on Memorial Day weekend. And this was the hat I actually got for free during it. And it's not an on-field fitted. I mean, it's not something that was ever worn by the teams. I think it would be kind of cool if it was. But this is just kind of a fan hat, you know, just something for, you know, it just wasn't worn on field or anything, but just something that they, you know, New Era put together. It's a solid colorway, but it's got the gold P, the gold New Era flag. The back, it says Philadelphia in gold. And on the other side, which is the selling point for me, was the flag logo. And if you look close, the stars are actually baseballs, and the stripes are represented by baseball bats. So that's pretty cool. Now you'll see this design on like T-shirts, you know, here and there. You'll see it, you know, yeah, I have it on a placemat. This has been done before, but I've never seen it on a hat for specific teams. And so there it is. They put it on there for the teams for baseball, for the MLB teams. So there's the Phillies version, and on the bottom, it's kind of a hunter green colorway. Kind of a little old school look, but the rest of it obviously is the solid red. But again, that logo right there, the flag logo done with baseballs and the bats, was the selling point for me. So again, I got this, I think this debuted around Memorial Day time. So I actually picked this up on Memorial Day weekend, back in late May. So that will do it for the patriotic version portion of this video for the hats. But the other hats are red, white, and blue too. So I guess the patriotic extravaganza continues with the next hat, because it's another red, white, and blue one. And it's this year's All-Star hat. Now, again, this is a flex fitted. So it's not, you know, just like you would see on field. So there's no Batterman logo on the back. But this is the flex fit version. You got the red brim and the red crown, so there's no dual colorway. I'm a fan of dual colorways. I haven't done it with the hats. But this one isn't, and it's a red underneath too, so it's very solid red. It's got the blue stripes going around it. And this, I believe, is a homage to the old Indians hat. Now, the last how many years in baseball for the All-Star game, they have done homages to for the host team with the hat, with the on-field hat. And you might remember last year's hat. Of course, the game was played in Washington, D.C. for the Nationals, but they homaged their roots of the Expos. Of course, they came to Washington from Montreal. So, those years ago. So they kind of homaged back to the old Expos hat. I never did get that hat, that All-Star hat, and I probably should have because I liked it, but I never got it. But it's a last year's version was a homage to the old Expos hats from like the 70s era, the tricolored hats, and that's why they did them the way they did them last year. Whereas this year, it's kind of more of a homage to the old Indians hats when they had those stripes. Now, other teams had this too. It wasn't just the Indians, but this is like an old, old baseball. Some of the teams had this, design with their hats. And the Negro Leagues had them too. Like this, it was just a, common practice for different hats back then. Kind of like it just kind of breaks it up a little bit with those stripes. But anyhow, there's the front. So it's got the Phillies P, and it's outlined in silver, and it's dazzle twill, so it's shiny. See, when you collect jerseys, you learn a little of the lingo for the cloth and for stitching. So that's what's called dazzle twill. Ooh, so there it is, bordering the P, which is in blue. You got the stars on either side, and that is represented, as I hear it, one's National League, one's American League, of course, for the All-Star Game. Now, I do find it kind of interesting because the Phillies, way back in the day, back in the 90s, had a batting practice hat, which I actually got last year when New Era brought them back. They remade them for the fans. They weren't worn by the teams or anything, but they kind of brought them back for a little time, and they were mesh hats, mesh hats, and but the Phillies actually had this. So they had their P on the front, and on either side it had the star. And they did that because if you look at the Phillies word mark, it's got the stars for the dots in the eyes. That's why they did it. So even though they did this for the All-Star Game, the Phillies at one point had this as a batting practice, design on the front of their hat. So that was pretty cool. Anyhow, the other side you have the kind of the rubbery patch that baseball and other sports, might notice the Super Bowl patches like that too for the teams. This is a phenomenon that started some years ago. I forget the actual name for this this material and whatnot, but you will see this on most every patch in sports anymore, and it's got that kind of rubberiness to it, and it is put on, I think, heat pressed onto the hat. And there it is, the All-Star logo for Cleveland, of course. You think Cleveland, you think Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, so that's why they went with that logo. I like it. I think it's a solid logo. I like the baseball seams inside the guitar. Very cool. ASG 2019 with the logo, Bowerman logo right there. And on the back, of course, it's a flex fit, so it's not going to have the Bowerman logo, so it has the Phillies bordered in silver, just like it is on the front with the P and so on and so forth. And then, of course, the lines going around it, the blue lines. Again, a homage to the old Indians and to other teams that had these on their hat, this design on their hats from back in those bygone days. So anyhow, there it is. Very nice. I like it. Of course, I bought it, so I had to like it. And I think it's a solid hat. I like the design. I think it's a solid hat. I do wish I got last year's though. I like that. I like that tricolor look. I just, for whatever reason, I just never picked it up. Last but not least, and I thank Festive for modeling this here. This is not a Phillies hat. This is actually a Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, a AAA affiliate to the Phillies. And the last few years, because they are the affiliate to the Philadelphia Phillies, the last few years they have had a game where they have, homaged Philadelphia in some way. Some years ago, they did cheesesteak. They did a cheesesteak deal. They had cheesesteak logo on their hats. Different things like that. Shout out to Major League Hats. I know he was looking for that on-field hat for a long time. I'm glad he was able to find one. But Lehigh Valley did that those years ago. They did like a Whiz Kids night with W-I-Z. Kids night, kind of homaging the old, the Phillies, the 1950 Whiz Kids, but also Whiz being cheese whiz, the cheesesteak deal. So they did that. Last year, they did the Philly Special. They had a Philly Special night, of course, from the Philly Special in the Super Bowl, Super Bowl 52. And this year, they're going with John. So they're having John night. Now, John, if you don't know what it is, it's basically a word that's used for just about anything in Philadelphia. It's one of the go-to words. Like, that's my John. That's John nice. You know, this is a nice John right here. You use this word for just about anything, and it goes back. I mean, I remember the word back in high school. People used to say, "Oh, that's nice John. I like that John." If they like a certain song or something, that's a nice John. I can go with that John. You know, that's a nice John you're wearing. You know, nice John. Everything's John. So it's a Philadelphia thing. Started years ago, and it's, you know, continues to this day. And shout out to the mighty E-Rock, because I mean, you think about John. When I think about John, I still think about his podcast that he does with the great Eagles fans that he has. They do during the season, called Fourth and John. So E-Rock, that one's for you, okay? So anyhow, this is what the Iron Pigs are doing this year. They're doing John Night, so they have the hat. They're having a special jersey uniform for it. So that is their ode to Philadelphia this season. But this is a flex fit hat. It is, again, it doesn't have any logos on the back. In fact, it has nothing on the back of it. There's nothing on here that you would even think this would be an Iron Pigs hat, but that's what they're doing. And they also did it in Phillies color, the Phillies colorway. The red, you know, it's kind of the homage to the Phillies hat. So you got the solid red, and instead of a P on the front, you have John with, of course, the star for the dot over, in this case, a J. It would be the I for the Phillies, the I's for the Phillies. But there it is. Scripted John on the front, new era flag on the side, nothing on the back, and it's got the black on the brim. And there it is. The Lehigh Valley John. That's what they're going to be. I forget exactly when the game is, but they're going to do this. They're going to do John Night for that game, and this is the flex fit hat for it. And it's also got the blue button on top like the Phillies have for their on-field hat. So anyhow, there it is. Here you go, Festa. Thank you. But anyhow, see, wearing that John good. Anyhow, thank you for watching this, John, and I will see you in the next vid. I hope you all enjoyed. Have a great 4th of July to all of you, to all my viewers out there, to anyone else who came across this John and enjoyed it. And if you did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, do all the things that YouTubers do when they, you know, they find a new channel and they enjoy it. I would enjoy the John. So anyhow, thanks again. Happy 4th, as I said, and hope everything's going well for everyone. Take care. Happy collecting out there, and I'll see you in the next John. Bye. Thanks for watching my most recent vid. If you enjoyed the content of it, and I hope you did, make sure you like, comment below, and subscribe. And after you subscribe to my channel, make sure you click that bell icon so you'll be alerted to my most recent drops here on YouTube. And unlike buying jerseys, hats, and my beloved Philadelphia sports team merchandise, such as my Philadelphia Eagles, it's free to do. So what are you waiting for? Anyhow, always remember, no matter what time it is, it's always MightyFan time.